What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I wanted to talk about the spot price of silver still hanging on to the $26 an ounce mark. Gold has come down a little bit, but we also need to talk about the Russian oil ban and how it's not only affecting Russia, but it's affecting us right here in the US. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for daily videos, subscribe to my second channel for weekly videos, get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel, come and join us in the Precious Metals VIP Club for giveaways, deal alerts, live streams, and a whole lot more. I'm actually going to be going live tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come hang out. And of course, go and get your 5 free stocks by downloading Webull and funding your account. Usually it's 2. Right now it's 5 for the next couple of days, so don't pass up on that. Everything will be linked in the description. So today is Wednesday, March 9th, 2022. The current spot price of silver, as I'm filming the video, is $26.01. It's down 35 cents or down 1.33%. Pretty solid red day on silver, but it's still hanging on to the $26 an ounce mark. It might go down a little bit. Spot price of gold is $1993.70. It's down $58.90 or down 2.87%. An even bigger red day for the beautiful yellow metal. And of course, the gold to silver ratio is in the 76 to 77 to 1 range. But of course, that's as I'm filming the video at like 10:30 in the morning, not as I'm editing, posting, or as you're watching. So head on down to the comments and let me know the date and time you're viewing the video and what the current spot price is for you. I'm always curious. Alright, so in today's video, we're going to be talking quite a bit about the silver, quite a bit about the gold, as we can see on display. Nice little selection, some coins, some rounds, some bars, got a little bit of gold right down there, down the line in the center. But before we can even get into the money, I think it's important that we first talk about the currency, more specifically, the gas prices going through the roof in response to this Russian oil ban. So in response to everything continuing to go on between Russia and Ukraine, we are now cutting off all imports of oil from Russia. So if you've noticed gas prices skyrocketing, it's because this Russian oil ban was decided on without a strategy on how to replace 600,000 barrels of oil a day, which means the demand is exceeding the supply, hence the wild prices. And I was tuning into the news last night, bouncing around from station to station or channel to channel. So I can't remember who was the exact person to say this or where it came from, but I remember hearing that despite no one enjoying these gas prices, apparently 70% of Americans would rather pay higher gas prices because otherwise it would make them believe that they're funding Russia's invasion. Now, first of all, I'm not saying I disagree with that, but it would be nice to get asked. I always hear 70% of Americans say this, or 90% of Americans think that, or 85% of Americans believe this. Who are the Americans that they ask these questions to? I've never been asked anything, yet I always hear these stats. Yeah, maybe 70% of the Americans that you ask, but something tells me that the average American that eats fast food all day long, despite it being literal poison just because it's cheaper, wouldn't care who profits from oil as long as it makes them be able to fill up their car at an affordable price. But that's not my stance. I'm just talking about the average American. But either way, being that we're blocking Russian oil and other countries are likely to soon follow, we're already seeing Russia get butchered economically. I mean, within a day or so after the initial invasion, due to our sanctions for Russia and other countries' sanctions for Russia as well, keep in mind, the goal was to attack them economically. We froze the banks that had trillions of dollars of US assets. We made it so that they can't use the dollar, the euro, the yen. We've made it so that they can't grow their military. We made it so that they can't build ships. We made it so that they suffer economically. That was the plan. And within a day or so of these sanctions to attack them economically, the Moscow Stock Exchange tanked by over 30%. And the ruble, which is Russia's currency, fell to the weakest it has ever been in history. Fast forward about 2 weeks to present day, and Russia is now seeing around 40% inflation, and their economy is just getting destroyed right now. And then add on top of that, now they're going to be selling far less oil, especially if and when other countries follow in our footsteps. But either way, the US alone, 600,000 barrels of oil per day. That's no joke. That will take a serious toll on Russia. Meanwhile, it's also taking a serious toll on us, because who are the ones that are really paying for it? It's us at the gas station. The price of gas is through the roof right now, and it's been going through the roof for the last couple of days or the last week or so. I mean, it's been for quite a bit of time, but especially the last week or so. But have you seen the price of gas today or yesterday or the day before? It's skyrocketing right now. So yes, sure, sanctions for Russia. I don't think there's anybody against that, except for Russia. I don't think there's anybody against the idea of there being some form of a punishment. But there should have been a strategy. There should have been a way that we can cut them off and have a game plan so that American citizens aren't getting slaughtered at the gas station. But in addition to the Russian oil cutoff, I wanted to talk about one other thing that's going on with Russia. Or should I say something that might be going on with Russia. And this is scary. I found this tweet from a verified media outlet that's apparently the largest Eastern European media company that claimed, with documents to support their claim, that by Friday, March 11th, Russia will be disconnecting from the global internet. Again, nobody seems to know for sure if this is going to occur. We'll find out by Friday. But I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was really important to talk about what this could potentially lead to. Something else to prepare for. And by the way, we're also seeing non-Russian companies already experiencing outages in Russia. Companies like Google, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, and a whole list of others. Meanwhile, Russian-based companies have allegedly been ordered to switch to domestic servers exclusively and get themselves a .ru web address. Again, we'll find out on Friday how accurate these reports are. Also, really quick, I'm editing this in because I forgot to mention it in the video. There are a lot of people out there saying that Russia will not disconnect from the global internet and that it's not true, it's fake news, blah, 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 which it very well could be. But I thought it was pretty interesting that there are tons of articles from 3-4 years ago talking about people in Russia protesting internet isolation. So it seems like Russia has tried, or at the very least talked about, doing this once before. This is not new. But the reason I bring it up is because many of us didn't even know that this was even a possibility. We didn't even know that this was a threat that could be made. And now that we know that it is, or know that it could be, there are two major reasons to prepare. Number one, if Russia were to disconnect from the global internet, as wild as that sounds, that means Russian civilians would be restricted to only having access to information from the Russian government and Russian media. They would have no access to outside information. They wouldn't know what everybody else is saying. They wouldn't know what everybody else is reporting. And God only knows what they'll be told. God only knows how they could be radicalized. And then, of course, too, disconnecting from the global internet to a lot of people pretty much translates to the possibility of a major cyber attack, specifically on the US, potentially on other countries as well. Because let's not forget, Putin did say, right before the invasion, 2-3 weeks back, that if the US or anyone else tries to intervene and tries to get in the way, Russia would issue immediate consequences more severe than we've ever seen in our history before. That's what Putin said, not word for word, but summarized about 2-3 weeks ago. Also remember, just the other day, in one of my recent videos, I told you all to consider taking your cash out of the bank. I'll say it again now. Consider taking your cash out of the bank. If we end up getting hit with a massive Russian cyber attack, guess what one of their biggest targets will be? Banks. You want to be proactive and do what you can to take care of a problem as best you can before it becomes a problem, to cushion the blow, like an airbag. You don't want to be reactive. That's how the 99% of people are. They'll wait until banks get hit with a cyber attack and then go to the bank to take their money out. Not telling you what to do with your money. All I'm saying is to consider taking your money out of the bank, or at least some of it. But anyway, though, we'll find out on Friday what's going on with that. Don't forget, we'll be finding out tomorrow what inflation's going to be looking like. This is going to be a major catalyst, by the way. Huge catalyst. I know everything going on with Russia right now, all the different headlines and everything that we're talking about and all these new topics that are popping up. I know that they are kind of taking the spotlight away from the fact that the February inflation report gets released tomorrow morning and the Federal Reserve's major important meeting is next week, March 15th and 16th. Remember, let's not forget, the tapering is coming to an end and rates are getting hiked up. I know everybody's talking about Russia right now, myself included, but let's not forget, inflation report, 24 hours away. So don't get too caught up in everything else. I know we're getting hit from all angles right now, but stay focused on what matters, while simultaneously stay alert on the what ifs. But hey, before we get into the silver and before we get into the gold, let's take a quick look at how the stock market is reacting to everything today. We currently have the S&P 500 up 2.08%. We have the Dow Jones up 1.77%. We have the NASDAQ up 2.82%. A massive green day so far. Remember, this video is being filmed at like 10:30 in the morning. God only knows what the rest of the day is going to bring us. Are we going to be starting green and then just tank halfway through the day? Are we going to just keep climbing and climbing and climbing all the way into the close? I guess we'll find out. Unfortunately, I have no choice but to film these videos earlier in the day, so let me know in the comments how the market ended up closing, being that this video comes out 2 hours after the close. But also remember, if you're in the Precious Metals VIP Club, you can watch all of my videos as soon as I'm done editing them. I post them usually around 12, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, several hours before the close, 3-4 hours before the close. So if you want access to these videos much earlier in the day, every single one of them could be watched in the VIP Club. But either way, we're seeing green across the board right now. We are seeing everything start to rally. Now, my interpretation, just by looking at the chart today, I think a lot of this has to do with people or investors thinking that the Russian oil ban is just going to simply end the war. Basically, cutting off Russian oil means that we're no longer giving Russia any money, we're no longer funding Russia, and then boom, it's just going to collapse. And also, there are new reports that are coming out talking about a ceasefire that has been agreed to in certain Ukrainian cities to let civilians out safely before Russia carries on. These are little positives, and little positives like these can cause rallies. It's absolutely wild. And really quick, before we get into the silver and gold, since we're talking about the stock market, just a friendly reminder, go and get your 5 free stocks by downloading Webull and funding your account. Usually they give you 2. Right now they're giving you 5 for the next couple of days, so don't pass up on an opportunity. If you refer just one friend by March 15th, they will give you 10 free stocks for the referral. This is part of their advertising budget. Rather than spending money on commercials and billboards, they reward the users for advertising their app for them. And of course, if you refer 3 friends, by the end of the month, you got a couple weeks left to do this, they will give you a spin on the Webull wheel, which guarantees you a free share of Apple with the chance of winning 2, 3, 5, 7, maybe even 10 free shares of Apple. Don't pass up on an opportunity. Webull link in the description. And now finally, moving away from all of that, let's now talk about the silver and the gold. So sitting here on display, we have the same coins, rounds, and bars that I've had on display all week so far. We have some special Maple Leafs, the 25th and the 30th anniversary Maple Leaf. Kind of looking forward to the 35th. Up at the top over here, we have some miscellaneous coins, the Type 1 Silver Eagle, Type 2 Silver Eagle, a maple leaf, and a kangaroo. Below it, we have some of the creatures of the north, 2 of the creatures of the north, with the 3rd one should be coming out in the next couple of months, I hope, hopefully by summer. The Kraken and the Werewolf so far. Looking forward to whatever the 3rd one's going to be. Over here, I don't even think you can see it in frame, we have some sunshine bars. Over here at the bottom, some even more miscellaneous coins. Another 10-ounce bar over there. And of course, we have some gold. All stacked up. Right there, we have a Krugerrand, a Philharmonic, a Maple Leaf, an Eagle, a Britannia, and then a 1/4 ounce Philharmonic. So a nice little display, nice little selection. Now, I wanted to focus on the silver and gold today because if you watched yesterday's video, you'll know it was a big day for precious metals. And in yesterday's video, I talked about how pretty much everything besides precious metals were tanking. The digital currencies were down, the stock market was down, real estate is definitely not down, but I personally believe it pretty soon will be. Today, pretty much the opposite is happening. And this is something that has been really highlighted, especially these last couple of weeks. Because that's kind of the way it's always been, but then everything kind of got jumbled starting around 2 years ago. But typically, for the most part, not always, but typically, when, let's just say, the stock market is doing very, very well, let's just say we're seeing a rally, or we're seeing a ton of green, or the stock market just keeps going higher and higher and higher, during times like those, it's usually not too hot for silver and gold. They don't really have the best time. But when the shoe's on the other foot, when the tables are turned, when the stock market is on not just a decline, but a constant, steady decline for days, weeks, months on end, like we've been seeing this entire year so far. We're only in the beginning of the 3rd month, but we have been moving in a downward direction almost every single day. I mean, we're only about, 60 to 65 days deep in the entire year so far? If I had to guess, I have no idea, but if I had to guess, I would say probably close to 45, maybe even 50 of those roughly 65 days have been red for the stock market. Meanwhile, what have silver and gold been doing almost every single day this whole year so far? They've been either standing their ground or moving in an upward direction. And that has been especially highlighted the last couple of days, or really the last week or so. See, it's important to remember, bad news is good news for the precious metals. Bad news is bad news for everything else. Actually, bad news is end of the world news for everything else, the way the markets are so reactive to little things that are going on. One little bad day and the whole market collapses. We know that the stock market especially, very, very reactive to things going on. Just like how we can get the slightest hint of good news and everything starts to rally. It's usually the opposite. It's typically the opposite when it comes to silver and gold. During good times, silver and gold don't do so well. During recessionary times or inflationary times, during times of economic uncertainty, during times of war, that's when silver and gold typically do the best. And that's what we've been seeing for the last couple of days. Again, referencing yesterday's video, gold surpassed the $2,000 an ounce mark for the first time this entire year so far. For the first time in pretty close to a year. I don't remember exactly what month gold hit $2,000 an ounce last time around, before it fell down into the $1,900 an ounce range, and then moved down into the $1,800 an ounce range. But remember, gold went from $2,000 an ounce to $1,900 to $1,800 an ounce, while the stock market spent the entire year of 2021 just doing nothing but going straight up. Again, it's not always, but typically, the precious metals do the opposite. Stock market was flying, precious metals were heading in a downward direction. That's just usually the way that it is. So when you start to see one market moving, it could be a little bit of an indicator. It could be a little bit of a heads up of what type of movement we're going to see next. See, that's why I always stress the importance of paying attention to all of the markets. I think you should be studying all of the markets, including the ones that you're not affiliated with. The ones that you have nothing to do with, the ones that you want no part of, that's perfectly fine. There are a couple of different markets out there that I want absolutely nothing to do with. I still pay attention to them anyway. And it's because they tell me things that I need to know. If you pay attention to the stock market, even if you're not investing, if you pay attention to the digital currency market, even though you're not speculating, if you pay attention to the real estate market, even if you don't have the currency to get involved in real estate, it can tell you things that you need to know, and it can help you stay multiple steps ahead of the game. Just like people that are all in on the stock market or all in on real estate and don't give a crap less about silver and gold, a lot of them pay attention to silver and gold anyway. They might not want anything to do with the precious metals, but they still pay attention to the precious metals. Why is that? Because the precious metals market tells them things that they need to know. You got to pay attention to everything going on. You can stay multiple steps ahead of the game. And that's something that I've been doing for a little over 4 years at this point, and it's worked out very, very, very well for me over the last 4 years. And over the last maybe 4 weeks, I came up with this concept where investing is a form of playing offense and stacking is a form of playing defense. It all depends on what stage of the game that you're in. I don't mean to bring it back up, but I got a comment on, I believe, yesterday's video asking me if now's the time for me to be playing offense or me to be playing defense. Right now, it's still time for me to play offense. During inflationary times, during recessionary times, during times of war, when absolutely everything is on shaky grounds and we're seeing far more red days than green days, for me, in my opinion and from my perspective, that's the time to be playing offense. When we're seeing more green days than red days when it comes to silver, that tells me it's not the time to be playing defense. I'll still be stacking silver and gold, mainly silver right now. I'll still be stacking, but I won't be diving in head first. I'll start diving in head first when we start seeing more red days than green days in the world of precious metals. And the other markets are seeing more green days than red days because that means everybody else is playing offense. When everybody else is playing offense, that means it's my time to be playing defense. As a contrarian, I look at what everybody else is doing. See, a lot of other people out there, they look at what everybody else is doing so that they can copy, so that they can follow. I look at what everybody else is doing, so I know to do the exact opposite. And like I said, that's what I've been doing for the last 4 years, even more specifically the last 1 to 2 years. And for the most part, almost every single move that I've made has been very, very rewarding. I've gotten it right far more often than I've gotten it wrong. Which tells me that I should probably continue doing exactly what I'm doing, maybe even cranking it up a notch. But anyway, those are just some of my strategies. Those are just some of my ideas. That's my game plan. I think right now is the time to be playing offense. Sure, we're seeing a massive green day today, but it's following a massive red day, which was yesterday, and an even more massive red day on Monday. Even though we're up by a crazy amount right now as I'm filming the video, we're still down for the week. And upon tomorrow's news, again, February inflation report being released, I don't have high hopes for that. I'm not very optimistic about that. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am optimistic about inflation. I do believe inflation is going to come down, but I'm not optimistic about inflation anytime in the near future. I think it's going to take a while before we start to see inflation start to ease up, especially with supply chain constraints still being an issue. And by the way, speaking of supply chain constraints, the whole Russian oil ban, I forgot to mention this before, the whole Russian oil ban driving up the price at the gas station, this is not only going to affect me, this is not only going to affect you, it's going to affect all of the food trucks. It's going to affect all of the truckers who are moving food around, moving everything around. It's going to affect the truckers as well. It's going to affect the mail trucks. It's going to affect everybody. So it's not just you trying to get to work. It's the truckers trying to get to the grocery stores so that the shelves can be stocked. Only reason I bring that back up is because that could, in theory, lead to even more supply chain constraints. But during these times, for me, it's time to play offense. I'm very curious, everybody watching this video right now, what are your thoughts on the Russian oil ban? How do you think this is going to affect you? How do you think this is going to affect the average everyday American citizen? How do you think it's going to affect the citizens of whatever country you live in if you live outside of the US? If you're already seeing the effects of the price of gas going up? And of course, when it comes to the silver and the gold, what is your stacking strategy? Head on down to the comments and let me know. If you guys like today's video, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for weekly videos. Go and get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. We got t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, coffee mugs in a bunch of different designs. We have the limited edition, luck has nothing to do with it, t-shirt and hoodie, only available until St. Patrick's Day. Get one while you can. A portion of the proceeds are going to St. Baldrick's Foundation. DYDSS store will be linked in the description. Come and join us in the Precious Metals VIP Club, which is where I do giveaways every single month, live streams multiple times a week. Remember, I will be going live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Deal alerts on silver and gold almost every single day. You can watch all of my videos early and commercial free. Every Saturday morning, I post a brand new adventure vlog, and there are a ton of other perks as well. I guarantee you, the value exceeds the cost. VIP Club link in the description. And of course, last but certainly not least, make sure to go and get your 5 free stocks by downloading Webull and funding your account. Usually it's 2, right now it's 5. Limited time, capitalize on that while you can. If you refer 1 friend by March 15th, got less than a week to do this, just 1 friend, they will give you 10 free stocks for the referral. And if you refer 3 friends before the end of the month, got about 3 weeks left to do this one, they will give you a spin on the Webull wheel, which guarantees you at least 1 free share of Apple, with the chance of winning 2, 3, 5, 7, maybe even 10 free shares of Apple. Don't pass up on an opportunity. We will link in the description. Time is running out. If you don't want the stocks, get them anyway, sell them. Congratulations, and you have some more silver and gold. And I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know once again, what are your thoughts on everything shared in today's video? When it comes to the Russian oil ban, are you expecting there to be even more gas price hikes? Do you think we're going to see the price of gas go even higher, significantly higher, over the next couple of weeks especially? Do you think that there will be a game plan that we cut off 600,000 barrels of oil every single day without a game plan? Do you think that there will be a game plan? Do you think that there will be a strategy? Something that is actionable right now? And of course, what are your thoughts on the silver and gold? Spot price of silver, as I'm filming the video, like I said, still holding under the $26 an ounce range. It might come down a little bit. It's not that big of a deal. Falling down 5, 10, 15, 20 cents isn't really a whole lot of movement. Still pretty much up there. And what are your strategies? What is your game plan when it comes to stacking right now? Are you playing offense or are you playing defense? Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.